just messed me up. Okay, hi, and welcome to Business Over Coffee International. My name is Carolyn Bindle, and I am owner of Fashion Academy, and I also sit on the executive board of Business Over Coffee. And we are here at the Ridgeway Business Center in Memphis, Tennessee, and we are also virtual and online, and also we want to welcome our archived viewers because you're very important too. And our panel today for our focus on talking about business and landmark businesses and how they affect the community is Wywoods Harris, and she is with the Cancer Society. She's got a list a mile long of all the different areas of nonprofit and the cancer support. And you're registered nurse, right? And just a ton of things. So she's going to talk about how nonprofits affect. And we have David Gould, who is second generation Gould Salons here in Memphis, 81 years landmark in the city. And then we have Jody Vance, downtowner, Memphis Downtowner. It's a magazine. So she's going to look at the media aspect of how landmark and 22 years, that's a long time, and she's also evolved from paper to online, so she's got both, so she's keeping up with all the changes, which sometimes will shoot a landmark down.
Yes, it will.
So we're gonna just discuss that, and I'm gonna just start off with, what do y'all think, when you hear second generation Memphis business, 81 years, what's your first thing that comes to mind?
Well, Memphis is the entrepreneurial city of the country, I think. I mean,
that's amazing, yeah.
We have so many great businesses that started here and are still here.
We have TGI Friday, started at Overton Square, okay? FedEx.
Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn, Holiday Inn,
Yeah.
Holiday Inn. So
Absolutely.
yes, they're here.
And I would like to personally thank Fred Smith for keeping FedEx in Memphis.
Yes,
And that's very important. That's
Yes,
very important.
yes, very, very important. And then we have Gould's, who, everybody knows Gould's, and probably at least once in life has been inside of the Gould's.
I would hope more than once, but
When you
At
consider
least
the
once.
entire city.
Yeah, that's true.
At
Okay.
least once.
Very good.
Someone has
Very
been inside
good.
of Gould's.
Very good.
Now, as far as the nonprofits go,
Well, I'd just like to share one of the things about to David. My daughter, who is one of my sponsors as a nonprofit, is actually a graduate and worked at Gould's for him. She is a cosmetologist now and has her own shop. But I've watched her do that transition and come through, and and then when she was at the school, I was there getting my hair done. So there's a lot of things, and when you talk about landmarks and you talk about that word, the thing about nonprofits, and I guess one of the greatest nonprofits to me is Baptist Hospital, because I walked in Baptist Hospital in 1967. With my little white uniform on, and became a student nurse. Stayed there until 2011 as I graduated. While I was there, all of the things that I did, I went to University of Memphis and got actually a degree in bachelor's in nursing and also a master's science in community health. So everything that is evolved for me came from nonprofits and how we help each other. So my transition into the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network, and which is this group is a sister group, and we really look at the legislative part of things that are happening in our community. And nonprofit, when we talk about nonprofits, we can't do anything until we look at all of the people that are around us that have, they have all the goods and the in-kind donations and all of those things. So I think when I talk about being a nonprofit, it's because I'm always looking for somebody to help me do something. And who else but the people that are landmarks. And I shared with David that my husband and I had a total of 93 years of work in the Memphis area. My husband worked at the Peabody for 50 years. He retired in 2007 as superintendent of services. So he was there when the Dutch came.
Yeah.
And he tells a story in the book about how, how his life evolved just from knowing people. And I shared with him that I just came back from Washington, doing a nonprofit for the American Cancer Society. And every time if you say, I'm from Memphis, you get three questions. Did you know Elvis Presley? Yes, I knew Elvis Presley. As a matter of fact, I was one of the student nurses
I
that
was
took
gonna ask you,
handed-
nurse at Baptist.
handed his baby to Priscilla. So
Wow.
they ask you, do you know the Ducks? I know the Ducks very well. They paid my bills. And then they ask you, well, what else in Memphis? And then we start talking about all of the places that are here that provide all of the services that we need so that we can do nonprofit. Now, I cannot leave, Carolyn, without saying this. When I was in Washington, one of the greatest things for me was that I got a chance to be with the senators. They have what they call Tennessee Tuesday. And so I have a picture here with me and Senator Lamar Alexander and Senator Corker in Washington. And one of the things that we talked about is what can Memphis do to make all of the things that, all the things that we have to do with the government. So a lot of times people say, well, Tennessee is so long. But I believe that Tennessee is so long because there is so much work that we can do. And nonprofits is going to be one of those ways. And you need to tell me to shut up.
Well, what I was gonna interject is I know that Gould's does participate in part of because my daughter went into Spence
Okay.
and she wanted her hair cut. Guess what he did? He made the ponytail.
Did he cut it all off?
He cut it off, put it over to the side,
Yeah.
and it will
Locks
be
from Love.
donated. It will be
Oh, they
donated.
do so much work.
Locks of Love one time told us we send in more ponytails than just about anybody in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
we do
Well,
a lot of ponytails.
Mhm.
We sure do.
Sponsorship.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, love
Yeah.
it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
And what are the parameters for the ponytails? They have to be.
I think it has to be 6 inches long, I
I
think.
thought it was 12.
Is it
No, no, no,
12?
it's
I
not
think,
Oh,
12.
they shortened it.
I think
Oh,
they've shortened
Used to
it.
be
I
12.
think it
Well, I'm
used to
so
be-
glad they did.
I think
Yeah.
they don't hold me to it,
She
but I
was
think it's
right
6
at
inches.
the, I mean, I went away and did something and then I came back and I saw the ruler there and I went, oh.
She's right at
And
it.
he goes, yeah, after I put the ponytail together,
Yeah.
I measured
don't-
it
I
and she
made
was
it
able
long,
to
but
do
I
it.
was
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
they shortened it to
What-
6
oh,
inches.
I'm
I
so
don't
glad
know.
they
I
did.
don't
I
know.
always
I
thought
don't know.
12
And
We
it
do a
can't,
lot.
can it be
Too much.
colored now? Can the
Yeah,
hair be
yeah,
colored?
absolutely.
So used to it couldn't be colored either.
Yeah.
But
Good
now
boy.
it can be colored,
As
so.
far as I know.
Okay, so that's,
As far as I know.
Yeah.
that's amazing,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
And Memphis
wonderful.
is great about volunteering.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, if you wanna see a dyed-in-the-wool volunteers, come to Memphis.
Yeah.
Volunteers.
Yeah, it's a generous
That's the
city.
only time we'll admit to being great volunteers. Because this is blue country, not orange country, but.
You have to be a Tennessean to be a volunteer.
But we're not the orange volunteers, we're just community
Well, it's the
volunteers.
volunteer state.
It's
Yeah.
the volunteer
It's the
state.
volunteer
Volunteer
state,
But
so-
in Memphis, we're blue volunteers.
Right. Okay, Carolyn, we know you have to say that.
So, now longevity and what it does to the spirit of the community, like we were saying, we've just recently lost Neely's.
We did.
And
did.
I mean, there was did y'all hear that?
And they were
It
great-
was on
and
the
they
news,
were-
the entire city went,
And they,
"Oh!"
and they were great customers, so I really.
But
But you have
Pat-
to think, it's our loss, but it's the
It's our
world's
loss,
gain.
but it
Yeah.
is the
Because
world's
But
gain.
Pat and
So
Gina
many
have,
And-
I think they've moved up to New York. They
Yeah,
have
they're
a
in New York
restaurant
and
up
that, and
there.
they just can't run their
Well, it's-
restaurants down here.
absolutely.
That's just, it's
Sure.
a hard thing
It's
to do.
hard.
But I have to say this, we did a major event, it was this big model event that accumulated at a Grizzlies game at the FedEx Forum, which was Memphis's NBA team. And, we were in the FedEx Forum and we had people here from LA. One of them was Michael Maddox, a very, very well-known in the model world, very, very well-known. So we had some fairly well-known people here from Los Angeles.
Okay.
They were starving because we'd been going all day. And we're at the Grizzlies game and we're like, okay, we're gonna have to pay 10 times the price because we're in this forum. But we're gonna go around and we're gonna find something, and we're walking, we're looking, the usual, stuff. And then all of a sudden, these people from LA go, oh! And I went, what? And they go, the Neely's from the Food Network?
That's it.
That's their stuff here in this forum? And I went, oh yeah, Neely's. I was like,
That's
what?
it.
Is that
Sure.
what I want? Yeah.
Sure.
Oh gosh, Neely's barbecue. What? We can have a Neely's barbecue. These LA people
No
were
question.
going berserk though
Absolutely.
that we could have. Guess where we ate?
Sure. Now we still have Jim Neely's Interstate, the
We
original.
still have Interstate.
Ah.
Yeah. So
So there's still
those of
still
you-
Neely in town.
those
Yeah, the
foodies
Neely's
that
is
come
still
to
there.
Memphis, you can still get Neely's barbecue. It's
Correct.
just under the name Interstate Barbecue.
It's just Jim Neely.
It's Jim Neely.
Right.
So yes, we are saved in that respect.
We
do,
are.
We
Oh,
do
yes, we
still
are.
have it. So-
We got great barbecue places.
We
The
got
Corkies are
tons
great
of
people.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I mean,
Now, what
The
does
rendezvous.
barbecue mean to media in Memphis? What does barbecue and
Well, I mean, it's like Memphis' signature, just like their
Mhm.
music. I mean, music and barbecue. You got
You got Memphis.
You got it. It's another signature for us, yeah.
and the Virgos
And
rendezvous.
it is the best,
you
and
know.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's pork. I mean, not beef, pork.
pork?
I don't know, Interstate makes a wonderful beef.
I
Beef
have-
brisket.
But, yeah,
I've
it's
never
true.
even tried the beef.
Oh, you should try.
I get beef in Texas. I get
Yeah.
pork in Memphis.
Exactly,
For those people that do not eat the pork, they can.
Yeah.
They can have.
They
yes,
do have
it's true.
beef as well.
There is beef.
Y'all are forgetting another big name in barbecue here in Memphis.
No, we're not. Probably just haven't come to it.
Okay.
What is it?
Rendezvous.
Oh, I just
he
said
said
rendezvous.
Virgos.
He said
Oh,
rendezvous,
I said
yeah.
Virgos.
He did say Virgos. In fact,
And Germantown Commissary.
Germantown
Yeah.
Commissary.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Walker Taylor does a great job, and
Yeah, and there's two that are a little lesser known, but they predate the Barbecue Fest. So you'll probably recognize them, and anyone who is old Memphis will recognize them. Leonard's,
oh sure,
Leonard's and
Yeah.
Gridley's.
and Gridley's and
Leonard's
Tops
and
and
Cozy
Cozy Corner
Corner.
and Central Barbecue
No,
and
we had a discussion earlier, and David, I'm gonna enlist you to help me with this.
Sure.
Because they're all your customers, so you all know them.
Right.
We're gonna have a share event, and we're gonna have all the barbecue people here.
I think it's a great idea.
samples.
It's a great idea.
With food. You're gonna help me put that one together,
Absolutely.
okay?
Right, listen, we'd love to do it.
And it will be
Ano-
sponsored by
place,
Gould's.
another
It will be
place that has a
sponsored by
great
Gould's.
beef brisket is Elwood's Shack.
Oh,
Oh,
that.
it is.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's like one of my favorite restaurants.
Where's it located?
Really?
Locally owned guys, and the guy that owns it works in the restaurant. They do a great beef brisket, fish tacos, the best in town.
That's awesome.
And they're locally owned. I just, talking about local, I guess, there's a need for the Chili's and the Amerigos,
Yeah.
but local restaurants, I
Oh,
love
you have to, you
their
have to.
their tagline that they're using, eat local.
Yeah.
Elwood Shack, I mentioned, Sweetgrass is a great locally owned restaurant at Cooper Young that's just, I mean,
Cooper Young, Central Barbecue.
Central Barbecue is it, all right? So, when we're talking about going out to eat, I like venturing towards those places as opposed to Applebee's. I mean, it's Applebee's. You get Applebee's anywhere.
There's another one, and he is a winner. He's award winning. I don't know if he's done Memphis in May, but no, he has done Memphis in May. But Fat Larry's out
Oh, I don't.
summer.
I don't know about this one.
Yes, Fat Larry's almost to Arlington,
Okay.
out summer.
Okay.
When it becomes highway, whichever one it is. I
Yeah,
get all the highways
okay.
mixed up. But I don't think it's stage. It is summer. It's out summer, because stage goes
Okay.
that way,
It's
summer's
Summer
that way.
Avenue,
Yeah,
right.
so it's called
Right
Fat
at
Larry's.
Appling, right
But,
at
but,
Appling.
but I mean,
Is
but-
it at Appling? You know
Yeah,
it?
It's right down from Appling.
Okay, you know it.
Yeah.
yeah, but see, talking about local. I mean, local. That's
local.
I
That's
have to give a shout out for my local
Okay.
barbecue place. So I live in the Arlington Lakeland area,
Uh-huh.
and there's a little Arlington barbecue there. They do one of the best.
I've heard their
hands-down
vinegar
pulled
barbecue is
pork.
the best.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Yeah, that they do vinegar barbecue though, is that right?
I actually don't know what it is, but it's really good. Now, I don't care for the ribs, but their barbecue pulled sandwiches, every time. We actually do barbecue nachos. We have my husband go pick up the barbecue from there, then run by
Wait,
Kroger.
gee, I'm starving to death.
Pick up
Let's
the
not
chips,
just-
pick
My
up the
kids,
cheese.
I have one that lives in New York and one that lives in Utah, and when they come to town, literally, we drive from the airport to Corky's,
Yes.
or from the airport to Huey's.
Huey's
Yes.
Burgers. There again,
Burgers.
locally owned.
We have,
Yeah.
they
You know.
get, that for Christmas, they expect Gridley's barbecue sauce, Corky's barbecue sauce, and Huey's,
Absolutely.
the
Seasoning.
seasoning.
Yep.
They expect those three
My,
things
my
from
wife
us
has
for
relatives
Christmas.
that live up in Boston, and we're constantly having to send them rendezvous
Uh,
seasoning salt,
Yep.
Corky's.
Yep.
We go down the whole list. We send them a little care package.
They
and-
have even posted on Facebook, my mom has not sent me my Corky's yet. What?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Okay, this is being virtual, seeing, we
Okay.
have Memphis business owners here, Memphis nonprofit. What is the thing you have to do in Memphis if you're coming to Memphis? Go,
Go to Beale Street.
Beale Street.
One of a
Okay.
kind.
Fried pickles. You gotta have the deep fried pickles.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Rum Boogie
I was
Cafe.
gonna say, you can have anything. I mean, Blue City Cafe, you've got fantastic ribs. You've got so much good food on Beale Street now. And now they have, you're going upstairs. You've got above BB King's, you have Edabina, which is some really fine dining. And now above Jerry Lee Lewis's, there's the 12 Bar. Now they're almost private, sort of speakeasy kind of club. So Beale Street's not just touristy, it's great for locals too.
Okay,
Well, it just came out in USA Today last week, the top 10 places to visit in the United States, and 2 were in
And
Memphis.
Memphis.
One, Graceland #1,
Right.
5, Civil Rights Museum.
Yeah.
2 on the same list. I mean, this is with
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore and
The White House.
and, I mean,
Yeah.
some pretty big places to go visit.
Mhm.
Memphis had 1 in 5.
1 in 5. And Oprah, whenever she finally made it down here,
Who came in the salon when she was here?
Did she?
Oh,
Huh?
absolutely.
She said the nation's best kept secret
Mhm.
is the Civil Rights Museum.
No
Yes.
question. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So,
And they're under renovation right now, and everyone should go because for the first and only time, and only during this time, you can actually go out on the balcony. So-
Really?
Yes. And it
Meaning,
only,
those of
only
you, the
during.
balcony that
Where
Martin
Martin
Luther
shot.
King was shot. Yes.
It's normally off limits, you see it through glass, but during the renovation, they are the Civil Rights Museum is open. Certain parts of it are closed, but to help draw that crowd and to help give people the experience, you can actually go out on the balcony. So that's a reason, if you're here to go, but if you're anywhere in the world, this is your one and only chance, because once the renovations are done,
You can't
you
go
will
out.
not be on the balcony anymore.
Okay,
And
and
that
that is a downtown
It's
Memphis
a
place.
downtown, right
It's a
across from our
downtown
office.
Memphis place. It is, isn't
Right
it?
across
It
from
is
our
right
office.
across
Yeah.
from you.
so to come to
Okay.
Memphis, you knock out 2 things off the list of 10.
That's
There
true.
you
go.
That's true.
There you go.
What about Graceland?
He just said Graceland.
Graceland's number 1.
Graceland was
Graceland was
Civil
1.
Rights was
Civil
5.
Rights was 5.
Okay,
As
why?
as a nonprofit, I'm going to say to everybody, we are coming into October, we have to turn Memphis pink. The first thing that's going to happen.
Saddle Creek.
Is that we will be at Cancer Survivor Park this year to do Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. And we are looking at how we can let the world know that Memphis loves people that need help as far as cancer is concerned. As you all know, West Clinic, we didn't talk about West Clinic, but
Right.
West Clinic just changed their name so that they become a center. And they are now in collaboration with Mayo and also with Houston. so that we can have our Memphis people come here and have their cancers taken care of and not have to travel so much. So as a nonprofit, I'm going to always be an advocate for all kinds of health problems and situations, but cancer is very dear to me because of family and losing 12 friends in 12 years with cancer. So I'm gonna say to you, if you love to walk, I love to walk. I'm an old lady doing 5Ks, but I love to walk. So I'm gonna ask you to look for the 5Ks, the walking that will help make cancer a non-name.
Is Race to the Cure,
Susan G. Coleman?
is it still gonna be
Oh,
in
yeah.
Battle Creek?
No,
Or
it's
is it
moved to Collierville.
It's moved to Collierville?
to the
Okay, okay.
Carriage Crossing.
To
Carriage Crossing.
Okay, oh, much bigger.
So it's
Much
a
bigger.
wonderful
We
space.
already have a team
Mhm.
being.
Do you?
oh,
Goulds has a team?
Oh, every year. We have a team
Yeah.
every year.
Oh,
We have
well,
a
I
team
need to
every
be on
year.
that team.
You
It's
absolutely
October
do.
26th.
I need to be on that team
before
because I'm on your
Absolutely
website.
do. You do. That's right. That's right. Don't forget
And
that.
anybody can get on my
Don't
team and
forget
make
that.
strides.
We have one too.
Oh,
You have a
yeah.
team?
Look
Cool,
at
there
them.
you go.
Wrestling for making
And then
strides.
there's a fashion show that we're doing at Carriage Crossing coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. I just heard that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard it
yeah.
announced.
They do it every year.
Yes.
I can't think of the name.
It's the breast
cancer, yeah, for breast
The
cancer.
survivors,
The
yeah.
survivors.
Is that what it is? Survivors. Okay.
Okay.
The survivors do that.
And then the really big nonprofit that I didn't even realize until I left Memphis. And I was in Southern California and the radio was on.
Make a wish.
No?
St. Jude.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
said, the radiothon for St. Jude, and I went, they're doing that in
Yeah,
Southern
they do it
California?
all over.
That
over
was
the
when
world.
the
All
reality
over the
hit
world.
me, just how big St. Jude was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just
Oh.
how, and it did not hit me. I knew that people knew of it, but I
Oh,
did, for
yes.
some reason,
Oh.
it just didn't connect with
You,
me
you
until I
mentioned
left
you mentioned
Memphis.
you mentioned cruises earlier.
Mhm.
Carnival Cruise Lines on every one of their cruises has a fundraiser, dance-a-thon type of thing for St. Jude. You buy a T-shirt, and all the money goes to St. Jude on every Carnival.
This is a Carnival cruise.
There you
Yeah.
go.
This is the BOCI is a
Yeah.
carnival cruise, so bring your money to dance the night away on
Correct.
that carnival
And
cruise
the
for
money goes to
St.
St.
Jude.
Jude.
St. Jude, yeah.
There you go.
So
Love
that's
nonprofits.
what really brings it home. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
important that is.
And and that's
Uh,
one thing that
And there again,
Memphis-
that almost left, and we were very fortunate for it to stay in Memphis because they considered it one time, did they not?
Oh, yes. very much
Relocated.
so.
Really?
Yeah, Dick Hackett was very instrumental in keeping
Who was a
St.
mayor,
Jude here.
a previous
Yeah,
mayor.
he was the mayor at the time, and yes, we came very, very close
Correct.
to losing St. Jude to another city.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was one time that our
Yeah.
political wheels turned in the right direction.
Right.
And make
they
that-
were able to keep St. Jude here.
Yeah.
It
Awesome.
means a tremendous
Now,
amount.
Marlo Thomas
Mhm.
has taken over the reins, because if you don't know the story of St. Jude, Danny Thomas is the one who founded St. Jude, and St. Jude sits on Danny Thomas Boulevard, and there is a gold domed
Dome. Mhm.
building
Correct.
sits right in front of St. Jude, and that is Danny Thomas's
And his wife.
and his wife's final resting place. Okay, Lisa.
Yes, yeah.
So.
And they have a
very-
wonderful museum there too, that, as locals, you should go and
Now that I
experience it.
did
It's-
not know.
It's a fabulous museum, and it is right
Remember
at.
his Parade of Stars?
Yeah, but it's
The-
right there
yep,
at
Sure.
remember
the,
that?
My mom
mausoleum.
was founded the Ladies of St. Jude. She was one of the original members of the Ladies of St. Jude back.
So did
and
you
she was
meet
there,
Danny?
and she was there at the ribbon cutting. She was there at the ribbon cutting for St. Jude back in
Amazing.
'61 or something like that.
So Goulds has
62.
been heavily involved for a long time.
Absolutely,
Again, community
absolutely,
spirit.
absolutely.
Does anybody have any comments that they want to make or questions?
If anybody visits the Metal Museum, it's not something that everyone goes to, but it's wonderful. Because you get to see
Wonderful.
artisans actually crafting things while you're there as well
Yes.
as.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And the Metal Museum rents out the grounds.
Yes, it's
It's
fabulous
overlooking the
space.
river.
And it
It's
is the
beautiful.
best view
Mhm.
of the river and the most
Yeah.
beautiful photos of the river that you can have.
And I think they're near the mounds too, aren't there some
Yes, they're right
across
historical,
from the mounds.
Indian mounds there?
Indian mounds.
Yeah, the
They
Indian
have-
mounds
they
are right
have two
across.
left, yeah.
And the really haunted, scary looking old army barracks.
Which could be condos one day.
They're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Which may be condos eventually, yeah.
Really?
Yes, uh-huh.
Oh, I may
Yeah,
have to
there-
get one
there are
just because
plans.
they look really
Yeah,
haunted.
There are plans for that. But the Metal Museum, that's the only one in the country. Memphis has it. Yeah.
Really?
Only one.
That's a landmark.
There
That
you
is
go.
a landmark.
There you go.
It's a
You know, I
Discovery
think we can
901
do-
uniquely
I think we can
Memphis.
do more landmark shows,
Yeah.
more landmark
God,
shares.
There's so many.
Because there's so many here in this
They're
town.
And then the ones that are no longer here, it's fun reminiscing about, some of the ones that are no longer
Okay,
here.
the ones that were no longer here, Maywood.
Maywood.
I know it's not Memphis.
Oh, Maywood is classic. Maywood was
The
classic.
Pippin, if anybody's remember.
Pippin.
The Pippin.
You have to remember the Pippin.
A place I grew up going.
How many of you got on the Pippin and would go,
Yeah.
it's shaking?
It would.
Oh, my God.
All a season.
Okay, y'all, we were leaving Liberty Land one night. We were shutting it down. It was the end of the night. We were shutting it down. And out in front of Liberty Land sat this big, huge black car.
Yeah.
I heard the whispers. And we all sat there and we went, should we wait? Because we know who's in that car. Because we know who rents out the fairgrounds when it closes. Literally, we just all sat there going, is Elvis in that car fixing to ride the Pippin all night long? And we were driving through Eastgate Shopping Center one night,
Yep.
10 o'clock at night. I think a movie had just let out. And sitting in front of Julius Lewis was a car.
Yeah.
It was a big old caddy.
Everybody had
Sitting in
Yeah.
front of Julius Lewis at 10 o'clock at night. Who could that be? The temptation to sit there and wait for Elvis to get done shopping was huge.
Elvis and Priscilla were both very, very good customers. She was in 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Was she?
She's been
She
coming.
comes to Memphis quite often.
She's been,
I
co-
did
she's been,
not know
she's been
that.
coming to us since she
She
moved to
doesn't stay at
Memphis.
Graceland though,
in-
does she?
No.
No, because it's
Uh,
open. I mean,
Priscilla was a regular customer every week. We used to have a salon right down the street from Graceland in Whitehaven Plaza.
I remember what
And,
even
and Priscilla would, every week, she had a stand-in every week, and many times Elvis would pick her up, drive up and pick her up, and the entire salon, this was back when we had private rooms, so Mrs. Jones didn't know that Mrs. Smith was getting hair color. And Elvis would pick her up, and the entire salon would empty out onto the sidewalk to see Elvis.
Oh, okay, everybody here. How many of you ran to Graceland whenever it was announced on the radio Elvis is riding horses?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
tie up on Elvis Presley Boulevard, Elvis is
Correct.
riding horses. Do you remember
Sure,
that?
absolutely.
They would announce it on the radio to
Absolutely.
stay away from that
What would
area.
it be like to have Facebook back then?
Oh.
Oh, my gosh. That's kind of frightening in
You'd
a
have a
way.
mob.
Yeah, it would be. It would be
Or
a total pop.
Instagram.
Or
Whoa.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, my mom said that the reason that there is a fence, that big, huge stone fence, the reason that fence is there is because when he first bought Graceland, the trees were stripped of all the leaves and everything because people were trying to get anything that they could get.
Oh, my God. I
And
believe
so
it.
they had to put the fence up. So, yeah,
That's cool.
so
That's cool.
amazing,
That's cool.
amazing,
That's
amazing.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say what my thing was. The Pink Palace.
Oh,
The Pink Palace.
tremendous.
Which almost
The Pink
closed
Palace.
at one point.
It almost closed also. And speaking of Memphis landmarks, Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
First self-serve.
Yes. And I used to think it was the greatest thing in the world to go through the Pink Palace when I was a little kid and get to go shopping
Yes.
Wiggly Wiggly,
through
remember
the little
that?
Piggly Wiggly that was there. And the circus.
The circus,
The
yeah.
Yeah.
circus. And I have got videos of my granddaughter now
With the
Wow.
sitting
circus.
and watching that exact same circus
Yeah.
in just total awe,
Yeah.
just like all the little kids are
amazing.
watching that little circus go around.
Mhm.
And for those of you who are watching, the Pink Palace was built by the man who,
Saunders.
Clarence Saunders.
Clarence Saunders, who, I was trying to say Clement, I was getting my Kimmons Wilson, I was getting,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, that's
Clarence
Holiday Inn.
Saunders.
But it was Clarence Saunders who built the Pink Palace. It was his home. It was to be his home.
Correct.
And then the stock market fell,
Mhm.
and he was never able to finish it. And the city took it over, and it's been a museum, and it's called the Pink Palace because it is made out of pink marble. and they have added on to it. They've added the planetarium, the IMAX, you know, all these wonderful things, and it is a wonderful museum and a
Well,
wonderful landmark in Memphis.
Talking about old buildings, I just recently, me and Beverly went over to the Memphis, Art Museum, and that building there was back from the, I would say the 20s. I don't know any real history about it, but it's a very
Is
beautiful
it Brooks
building.
that you went to?
Brooks, yeah.
Brooks?
Okay.
Do you know what was filmed behind Brooks? Speaking of Memphis icons?
I do.
You do? You know what I'm gonna say?
I think I do.
The opening
For
to
Fantastic
Features.
Oh, you don't have to be local for that. No one outside of Memphis will know who Savant is, trust me.
I was an adult. I mean, just like since I've, in the last 15 years, found out that opening sequence of Savad with that ominous casket and lifting up his
Smoke.
cape and the smoke coming out, that was filmed out behind Brooks Art Gallery. I would have never gone to Overton Park as a child if I'd have known that.
It frightened me so. It
It
frightened me
was-
so.
yeah, it
frightened
just
me as
scared
a
me to
little.
death.
Oh, it just.
And he wasn't that scary.
Oh, he's a very nice man. My
But
dad.
at 10 years
Yeah.
old, he was there.
Yeah.
He worked for
He
the
was the boss.
Malcos. He worked for the Lightnings.
Yes, he worked for the Malcos.
Mhm.
And so those are our Memphis landmarks. Well, we are going to wrap this up and let everybody do some networking. We have one more goodie that we want you to give away.
Oh, okay.
David has been a very popular person here.
I bring shampoo with
He
me.
brings shampoo and everybody's, oh my gosh! Okay, David,
All
who
right.
is the next
All
lucky
right.
recipient?
There they are.
It is Shandon Allen.
All right, Shannon.
Okay, come on up and get it, Shandon.
Just bring your lovely locks up here and get this.
Well, I think the missus will be getting that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, well, coming to you from Ridgeway Business Center, this has been a wonderful morning to sit and
fun.
talk with
Yes,
our
it has.
landmarks.
Laughter Lowry, you would
and
be proud
laughter.
of us today.
And yes, Laughter Lawyer would be very proud of us today.
Laughter
A
Lowry.
shout out to Deborah Norwood. And thank you for joining us live, or if you're watching us virtually after the fact. We want you to please visit the websites of our people who have been here today, memphisdowntowner.com,
Yes.
gouldsalons.com.
That is correct.
American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.org.
And our sponsor today, DelmarJohnson.com, Living in the Now. The summit will be September 28th here in Memphis, Tennessee. And you get all the information at DelmarJohnson.com. And I will be at the Chocolate and Shopping Show Saturday doing a fashion show at Wolf Chase Gallery. At noon it will be with the women. At 2:30 it will be with the teens. And we're doing it very differently. We are doing it where it's almost an anti-fashion show. It is, we're not gonna take it anymore because women have real curves and these are the clothes that fit real women.
So is that gonna be
Right.
dangerous curves?
Dangerous curves, actually
Right.
it's Dillard's.
Okay.
And we wanna thank Dillard's Wolf Chase and Dillard's Oak Court because we'll be doing the same fashion show again at Oak Court. So come and see all of us. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Business Over Coffee, where we
Bring everyone
Bring
together
with
Connect-
connections,
collaboration,
collaboration,
exposure,
exposure, and
and
business.
business.
Woo!